Just a reminder, dear viewers. If you're enjoying Anime Kohai videos, the creator would really appreciate it if you donated to her Patreon page to support her work. She puts a lot of thought, time, and effort into creating Tensura videos, and it's difficult for artists like her to continue putting out content without any support from amazing viewers like you. Check it out if you get a chance.
Gazel no doubt had some of his own advisors to deliberate with, too. So I promised him we'd set up discussions after the festival. He was soon on his way. It was now morning, 3 days since Diablo's return. Yome's band was here, and he picked the exact right moment to show up. We were actually holding a pre-opening feast this evening, the festival itself finally starting up tomorrow. Before then, however, we were at the usual meeting hall, Yom and a few of his closer advisors seated across from me.
Hey, pal, it's been forever and a day, ain't it? Well, guess what? I'm royalty.
His clothing certainly had a few more bells and whistles on it, but the person inside hadn't changed. He was just as brazen as always, greeting me with a defiant grin. I smiled back.
And clothes certainly make the king, don't they, Yom? Thanks for all your hard work.
Ha, hell, thank you. You're the one who took some grubby bum off the street and elevated, I am up to king.
He said with a smile.
So I hope you're gonna see this to the end, yeah? I'm all in on what you're aiming for, so don't leave me hanging halfway.
Just as he promised, Yom had become a fine king for me, and with Diablo's behind-the-scenes work, he now had a firm grip on the throne. Farmus, a nation with a long, illustrious history, had fallen. In its place was born a new kingdom, with the champion Yom as its accepted leader. It was a nation reborn from the threat it once was, so Diablo thought fit to change its name to Farminus. To cement this, he also had Yom style himself as Yom Farminus. Next to him in the meeting hall were two magic-born, Majoran and Gruesith. They were his constant bodyguards, and I had no doubt they'd keep Yom safe, although Majoran wasn't really a bodyguard at all, of course.
Lord Rimuru, let me reintroduce myself. I am Major Farminus, wife of the king. It is good to see you again.
Perhaps noticing my eyes on her, Majoran lifted up her dress a little and curtsied. It was beautiful, enough to make your garden variety rich heiress blanch.
You fit into the role of queen like a puzzle piece, Majoran.
Yeah, doesn't she?
Yom said, beaming with pride.
She's educated and all, unlike me.
I do have some experience in this, shall we say. Clayman was such a stickler for etiquette and manners.
There was no doubting that Clayman held himself well, or at least had a thing for noble trappings. He'd festooned his castle with ornate furniture and artwork, and I'm sure he was just as fastidious with his own staff. Looks like that helped us out in the most surprising way with her.
Yeah, well, it's an experience for all of us. I mean, ruling a nation's been hard for me, too. A little bit ago, I had to formally greet every species in the forest of Jura, and it nearly killed me. I felt like some kinda sacred idol.
Oh, I hear ya. I have all these nobles requesting audiences with me, and some of those idiots are already forming factions and trying to start something. What a headache, I tell ya. At least that old man Raisin, our magic expert, is handling all that pretty well.
Raisin himself was not here. Things were still less than stable around their nation, and he was busy darting to and fro, attending to post-Civil War matters. I feared for a moment he'd betray us, but looking back, he was only under the effects of Diablo's tempter spell, so no worries there. The retired Edmaris, meanwhile, had disguised his identity and was now serving as an advisor, making up for Yom's lack of experience and education and helping out in assorted areas of politics. And as for Gruesith the Magic-born.
So you're head of the Night Corps now?
I sure am, Sir Rimuru. I turned the job down, but he never listens to me.
Yom had all but forced Gruesith to take a role in government. He certainly had the muscle for it, and none of the remaining knights voiced any complaint, so the fledgling nation of Farminus wanted to appoint him head knight, hoping to keep such talent from straying off. He'd balked at first, enjoying the new freedom in his life, but after Majoran begged him as well, he found it impossible to refuse. Was Gruesith gonna be alright doing that? I didn't bring it up. He didn't seem that reluctant.
I still consider myself part of Lord Carolon's warrior alliance. But for now, I don't mind babysitting this idiot.
Shut up. You're the idiot.
No, those two hadn't changed much. And the sight of Majoran wincing at them took me back as well. It was a familiar act, but this time, someone interrupted it.
King Yum, Captain Gruseth, you are being terribly rude to the Demon Lord.
The loud voice came from what looked like a grade school boy, a very handsome and intelligent one.
Ah, Edgar, you're always so serious.
And why not? He's far better put together than you. What more could we ask for in a crown prince?
Captain Gruseth, this is not the time for joking. I am trying my best to serve as King Yum's attendant, making sure he becomes a good, just king.
Edgar, son of the previous King Edmaris, glowed red with embarrassment. He was still just 10 years old, but well put together was an understatement. By the looks of things, he was already used to being the butt of their jokes. Having to deal with such mean grown-ups at his age had to be difficult. At least Yam and Gruesith seemed to care for him, as much as they carried on. I wouldn't have minded more of this pleasant small talk, but it had to end sometime. They were all tired from the voyage, and I'd have other VIPs coming for the pre-opening tonight. I suggested we could continue this conversation with some drinks later, and Yam readily agreed.
So, Yam, as thanks for keeping your promise, I have a present for you. Diablo.
You mean this, Sir Rimuru?
Before I could finish, Diablo realized what I meant and picked up a certificate we had prepared in advance, kindly providing it to me. I handed it to Yam.
Hey, what's this, pal?
Yam wasn't particularly great at the whole literacy thing, either, so he quickly tossed it over to his assistant, Edgar. With a nod, the boy read it, and then his eyes bulged out of their sockets.
You're forgiving the rest of the reparations?
Yep, don't really need any, now that Yom's king.
They had already paid us 1,500 stellar gold coins in reparations. The total sum of 10,000 stellars was laughably astronomical, and now that our mission was accomplished, there was no need for that money anyway. Yam looked at the shocked child with a smile.
Well, I don't really get what that means, but there ya go, Edgar.
He didn't know, but Edgar sure did. No doubt it'd be another gold star for Yom's reputation. Thus I became known as a person, or a demon lord, I suppose, who was willing to bargain a bit when it came to reparations. My talks with Yom's group were over. They all left the meeting hall, dragging a still petrified Edgar with them. It was afternoon now, and I was no longer quite so busy. Visitors were still swarming in, but they weren't eager to talk right now, either, not when there was this evening to prepare for. A lot of them certainly wanted to see me, and I agreed to, as long as they were willing to wait until after the festival. I finally had some free time as a result, so, as I promised, I decided to travel to Anglacia and pick up Yuki. I could stop by the school there and take the kids as well. A festival like this, I didn't want them to miss out on the fun. The streets of Anglacia were a nostalgia trip for me. It had been only several months since I left, but recalling life here naturally dissolved any tension from my face. I couldn't help but travel to the Free Guild headquarters in the middle of the city. Through the modern automatic glass door, I entered an air-conditioned chamber, and the moment I did, I was greeted with sharp-eyed stares. Only adventurers ranked B or higher were allowed in here, and this crowd looked the part, tough, seasoned, and not to be messed with. Looking around the chamber, it was clear nothing had changed. It made me happy. A few of the men were openly appraising my appearance. Given they were here in the middle of the day, they might have been preparing for some big job or another.
Who's that?
Haven't seen I am around before. Is he new? Hey, you know him?
Ah, you think I know anyone that pretty?
These whisperings weren't exactly welcome news. Less than a year's time, and they'd already forgotten about me? But then I noticed, I didn't have that mask on now, did I? I could fully control my own aura, so I went barefaced, since there was no longer any need for it. I had considered a disguise, but it was too late now. Fortunately, I was dressed in my old adventurer's garb, so as long as I acted the part, nobody would realize I'm a demon lord. Besides, Shuna had expended untold efforts sewing the demon lord outfit I'd wear for official audiences. It was incredibly gaudy, decorated up and down with nothing but the finest accoutrements, and she even knitted a full-on coiffure to top it off, so it'd look nothing like what I'm sporting right now. There were still relatively few ways to record things around you in this world anyway. It's not like people far and wide would know what I look like as a demon lord. Maybe I shouldn't bother worrying about it. For now, let's go with this. So I strode up to the reception desk. A man walked in front of me, blocking my way. I was struck by the weirdest sense of déjà vu.
Hold on. I dunno what kinda backwater you earned your B rank in, but you think you can just come in without a word to the vets around here? Don't ya know it's the polite thing for a new adventurer to give his name first?
Actually, it wasn't just déjà vu. I pretty vividly remembered him. This guy was Grasse, friends with Cobble and his crew, and he had whined at me about proper greetings last time, too. He must have lived his whole life like he was captain of the football team.
You're Grasse, right? You're always hanging out here at HQ, aren't you? Don't you have any work to do?
Huh? You know my name? So.
Mine's Rimuru.
I said, cutting him off.
I was with Cabal's party, remember?
I mean, come on, Grasse. I know that mask is gone, but my voice is exactly the same, okay? Why isn't he picking up on that?
Rimuru?
And this is the first time you're seeing my face, but at least recognize my voice, man.
No, but, is it me, or were you kinda smaller last time?
My name instantly threw Grasse into flustered confusion. I beat him rank-wise, so in his football captain mind, I was above him. Adventuring was largely a meritocracy anyway, so acting superior based on age or years of experience wasn't really a mainstream trend. If a new guy helps you out, you'll naturally respect that and help him back in kind, but a lot of adventurers didn't see the need to be friendly to total strangers, either. Things changed if you were in a party, but in terms of social cliques? That was nearly all based on rank.
Yeah, I grew,
I said in a huff. More evolved instead of grew, but I didn't need to be that honest. It seemed to convince him.
Oh, I get it. But, man, Rimuru, you sure got pretty hot. You must be well near invincible by now, huh? Getting to see that sweet face of yours. I'm so moved.
He was standing at attention now, like he did with Cobble, as he bowed to me. He always was a snake that way, but I couldn't hate him for it.
Yeah, but why are you always here? Aren't you employed?
Don't give me that. This is kinda part of my work. I'm educating the new adventurers.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.